Meghan, Harry, security and a wedding. What is the latest? Hi, good morning, Neil Sean here in the heart of London. How are you doing today? Hope you're all keeping well. Nice to see you. Yes, you, talking to you. Stop rubbing your eyes when you're watching me. Be awake. We all feel like that, don't we? I know. I tell you what it is though. I think it's about changing seasons, you know. We sort of go from being asleep, I think winter puts you into a deep sleep really. And then you sort of wake up a little bit, don't you? You think, oh, it's bright now this morning. I better wake up. But you can't, can you? You will when you've heard this news about your royal favourites. So let's get to it, as they say. Basically, it all centres upon, of course, Harry and Meghan and their security row. And one of the reasons why they decided not to return back for the memorial of the late Prince Philip. First of all, also, let me debunk a story that's going around at the moment regarding, of course, an alleged fallout between, of course, the late Prince Philip and Prince Harry. It all centres upon the myth that apparently Prince Philip said to Prince Harry when he started dating Meghan Markle, one steps out with actresses, one doesn't marry them. That's simply not true. That never happened 100%, let me tell you. That particular quote comes from way back in the 1940s, early 50s, when Prince Philip was, according to the gossip columns, becoming overtly friendly, you know what that means, basically, with an actress of the time called Pat Kirkwood. Nothing toward or untoward happened, but basically that quote was attributed to that particular era. And she was appearing in a major musical at the time at the Prince of Wales Theatre and the London Hippodrome, and that quote was attributed in a national newspaper. Somebody's found that quote, put it towards him and Prince Harry. It simply didn't take place, and I've had that verified by a very close source to the late Duke also. So again, you can just see how these things start their life of their own. But the bigger problem now for Harry and Meghan is truly this. They have indeed been invited to the forthcoming wedding of Brooklyn Beckham to his very beautiful fiancée, Nicola. I tell you what, that makes me feel old. I remember interviewing Victoria Beckham, who is a lovely lady, by the way, when she was expecting Brooklyn. Yeah, that really does make you feel ancient, you know. The Spice Girls were fabulous. Whichever way you look at it, they brought a lot of fun and jollity to the world when we so needed it, way back, of course, in the middle 90s. And of course, now she is almost royalty herself, let's not forget. She's been around in this business a long time, alongside a very successful brand ambassador husband, David Beckham, who's also a nice fellow, actually. Too many tattoos for my liking, but that's just my personal thoughts. Now, it's interesting, isn't it? Because obviously they were invited to the royal wedding of Harry and Meghan, and of course William and Catherine, because they have excellent royal connections. David gets on with both William and Harry, and they've had a good friendship for many years, obviously linked through football. But now the story's bashing around that, well, Harry and Meghan have been invited. That is true, 100% we can tell you. But the bigger problem is this. Now, allegedly, as ever, we always have to say that on the show, they wish to take their own security. The wedding's going to be in Florida. Now, as one can imagine with a wedding of this calibre, particularly as it's been covered allegedly again by the glossy magazine Vogue, one would expect an absolute powerhouse of security. Now, if all of those major stars wanted to bring their own security, then there was simply no room for Brooklyn and Nicola, would they, in the church? It makes sense. So that truly is the ongoing battle, if you like, or discussion, more to the point, rather than a battle. Now, it's interesting for Harry and Meghan because, of course, if they don't make a fuss over security, it looks odd, doesn't it? They can turn up at a wedding for a friend in Florida, but they can't fly all the way over to the United Kingdom for the memorial for his late grandfather, the Duke of Edinburgh. As I often say here on the show, you can't win either way. I thought he was really silly not to come over. It's really dented his image, not Meghan's, but his. A lot of people thought he had a very close friendship and bond, and obviously a lot of love from our gracious Majesty the Queen. You could see that, the way she put herself out for Meghan Markle when she arrived within the British monarchy. And I do believe the public feeling over here regarding Prince Harry is it's plummeted to a simple all-time low. So if he does step out for a wedding, well, one can only imagine what that's going to be like in the PR terms. As ever, when I know more, you'll know more. Neil Sean in the very heart of London.